Hey friends, I'm Rye Myers, your Broadway and Entertainment BFF, and you're watching another episode of my live digital talk show series, Live with Rye. Today is such a good episode, and I am so excited to talk with the three guys that I have. But first, as always, listen, do me a big favor. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my YouTube channel below so you never miss an episode of Live with Rye and everything else that I do. Hit that subscribe button right below. And listen, I love being able to do what I do, so if you find magic out of what I'm creating here today, you do me a big favor and you can scan this QR code right here and leave a donation if you are so inclined, or if you head to riothenewsguy.com/donate, which you'll see also scrolling across the bottom of your screen, riothenewsguy.com/donate. You can head on over there and donate as well. All right, I am so excited for today's guest. I cannot wait to bring them on. They have created this incredible, exciting, gay-themed Western hormone-filled escapade called Steam. I am so excited. Please help me welcome the writers, the creator, and the star, Matt Andrews, Jeffrey Simon, and Kobe Getzig. Let's see. Hey, Matt. Hey, Jeffrey.
Hi, Rye.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Well, and you folks are all in LA, right? So it's a few hours behind. I'm in New York, so it's a few hours earlier for you folks, right?
That's correct. I'm still being lit by sunlight.
Amazing. I love that. Well, let's get started. I mean, Steam, as I said, I watched it today and I'm in love with it. It's a gay-themed Western hormone-filled escapade as it's described. The conductor of a tourist steam train deserts his boyfriend for a night with a real-life outlaw. So, where did the idea come from to write this, and where was this filmed?
Well, actually, the idea came from the fact that Matt and I have been obsessed with trains for a very long time. There's this amazing railroad in Colorado that we learned about maybe 10 years ago called the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad, and it's beautiful, and they go up into the mountains, and just seemed like an awesome place to set a movie. And then I learned that there are actually a lot of gay men that still run and operate these trains and have historically throughout the years. So I thought, why not make a Western and set it in this world?
Yeah, that's really cool. That is, you noted that in the press kit, and I thought it so interesting that there was a lot of gay men who were a part of that. Did you get to meet any in this experience?
Yeah, for sure, and women and all sorts of queer people. It just seems like it's a cool, open community, and there's something about historic preservation and the art of everything they're doing that I think must be attractive.
Yeah, amazing. Well, why don't we tell everyone watching what your role was as part of the movie? So, Jeffrey, you wrote the book, correct?
I wrote the screenplay, and I wrote the music and lyrics, and I directed the film.
Yes. And Matt?
I produced the film with Jeffrey.
Amazing. And Kobe?
Hi, I'm Kobe. I played Lance in the film, who is the train conductor who gets swept up in a whirlwind romance.
Yes. You're the handsome train conductor that does get swifted up in that. So, when was this filmed? Was this filmed in 2020 over the pandemic, or was this before the pandemic hit?
It was right before everything shut down, so the end of 2019.
Oh wow, that's really exciting. Yeah, the sites are just gorgeous. I'm gonna actually pull up a photo here. This is from your press kit so people can see it. This shows the background just so everyone can see. I mean, look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. That's all real, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, real.
It's real. It's in New Mexico.
Wow.
Or that might be Colorado. I think that's over the border in Colorado. The one we shot on, the train, which is the Cumbres and Toltec, goes from Chama, New Mexico to and Toledo, Colorado. I think that's right.
Wow, that's really, really cool. I have to say, I didn't realize something so beautiful existed out there.
Yeah, you got to visit Chama, New Mexico.
Yes.
It's really wild. I mean, it really transports you, the whole setting, the train itself, but also just the terrain and the setting really transports you back to a different time. Just being up there is like, it really feels like you're in a different world.
Yeah, I'll have to go check that out. Now, this question, Kobe, you can start, and then Matt or Jeffrey, if you want to chime in, but I'm interested, so your character Lance, which obviously is played by you, Kobe, so you love the boyfriend that you have, but you have this thing for, you're drawn to the rebel outlaw, sort of, you love the country, the Western life. What is it about him that is drawn to this rebel outlaw, do you think, for Lance?
I think Lance at his core has an adventurous spirit, and deep down inside him yearns for something more. I think that's something relatable. I mean, I've definitely felt that before in times in my life where I felt like things were good and they were going pretty steady, but I wanted to change, or I wanted something exciting to happen. And so I think that things were good for him, and he was doing what he loved, but he was eager for something to sort of switch it up and shift his perspective. And I think that's pretty relatable. I think we've all been there at one time in our life or another.
Yeah, I agree. I have to kind of say, in a way, I say admire in a soft way, because I do admire that the hyper masculine obsession that Lance does have with this archetype, because I can sort of relate to that as a gay man. There are sort of, like that, I could see that. Do you think that has a little bit to do with it too? Does Lance sort of like that sort of, hyper masculine type outlaw that the guy that he goes after is? I forget his name. I'm sorry.
For Neil, yeah, no, I mean, totally. Like, I totally, I mean, as a gay man as well, I totally relate to that. The idea, it sort of like clouds your judgment. You see something that seems like you put it up on a pedestal, and it sort of fogs up all of the warning signs that are like, this might be dangerous, this might not be good, this might not be the right thing for you. This ideal of this like rugged, masculine, like, man, is very attractive, I think, to him.
Falling down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And how about to add to that, Jeffrey? All that.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe said it pretty well, but that's exactly what you're talking about. I mean, there's part of me that feels a little guilty for liking some of these old Westerns that have these characters that are so problematic in so many other ways. I mean, and a lie, like nothing about the Wild West, quote unquote, was anything like what John Ford and Clint Eastwood did in Westerns. But it's still this like mythic archetype that is attractive and clearly very, built into the fabric of what it means to be an American and what it means to be a man in America. And I think, making it a musical, which is a very gay place in a way, like a lot more open to the gay men of the world, and other people, lots of queer people. I think just having that sort of contrast is an interesting sandbox that I wanted to play in.
I think it's a great sandbox to play in. I think that also, as creating something like this that is so new in the sense that there hasn't really been, Brokeback Mountain, but there really hasn't been a gay film like this that focuses on the Western movie type. And I think that is something that is really special, and it's written in such a different way. So I love that.
Yeah, we wanted to make a gay Western that wasn't so melancholic and wasn't a coming out story. We wanted to do something that was just really exciting and adventurous.
And Matt, as the producer on this film, what was sort of your responsibility? And as the producer, did you sort of feel this pressure to make sure that you got it right, or that and I don't know what you identify as, but did you feel that you wanted to get this right to, make sure that, it was done right for the gay community or the queer community, that, everything was portrayed good, that you got sort of the best takes and everything? Or as the producer, what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gay, but I was there to support Jeffrey's vision every step of the way and make sure that he was able to tell the story that he wanted to tell in the way that he wanted to tell it. I think, one of our biggest challenges producing wise was sort of the logistics of shooting around a live tourist train station. And finding that location in itself was a huge challenge because we originally were planning to shoot in Durango, Colorado, and that all fell through because they got sued by the federal government a few weeks before we were about to shoot there.
Oh, yeah.
We luckily found Chama and they were very welcoming and it all worked out.
That's amazing. And was it a large film crew that you had, including, cast and crew for this?
It was pretty big. I mean, I think in total we were around 25 people. We definitely, our impact was felt by this tiny little town that we were shooting in. We might have doubled the population. No, I don't think that's true at all. But everyone was very supportive and we got a lot of love from the businesses and the people there.
That's awesome. I love that. That's great. What does the outlaw offer Lance that his boyfriend couldn't? I find it very interesting. There was parts of Lance that I could relate to, and I feel like some men in the gay community today feel like they might have, especially if they're in a relationship. So what does the outlaw offer Lance that you think that a boyfriend couldn't? Start back with Kobe and then.
What does he offer Lance? I mean, I think sometimes it's hard. What do I want to say? Sometimes it's hard to recognize what's in front of you when you've had it for a long time, and you start to take it for granted. At least that's, I think about his relationship with Judd, and you see it sort of unravel in that way. And like, I think that it's the newness of it and the forbiddenness of it that is attractive to him. And I think that that's relatable for a lot of people, especially people in long relationships. I mean, I think ultimately Lance and Judd are not meant to be together, and I won't spoil the ending, but I think that that forbidden fruit, it's like that. It's easy to ignore what you have in front of you and what's working in front of you when something new comes into play, especially something that you've had as a fantasy, as your this ideal for so long, I think.
Yeah. And Jeffrey, as the writer.
Yeah, I mean, adventure, I suppose. Everybody always, I think, thinks the grass is greener. Maybe not always, maybe not everybody, but certainly a lot of people.
Right.
And to be given that opportunity, I think sometimes you just, you take the first step towards an opportunity. And then, if the next one presents itself, you take the next one, and then you take the next one, and sooner, before you know it, it's gone too far. And I think that's sort of the problem that Lance has come upon in this particular film.
Yeah. I know so many times everybody thinks the grass is greener on the other side, just to find out that it's not. It learns
same grass. It might even be dead.
Yeah. Or it's not even about the grass, like it might just be about something deeper that you need to recognize within yourself, which I think is part of the journey as well in this film.
Yeah. No, that is true. And I think this film does a beautiful job of doing that. I want to just show everyone too the beautiful artwork for this. This is the movie poster. This is, so look at this. I mean, this is just, I have to admire it. I mean, talk about, I love that the three photos at the top. You have the beautiful train at the bottom. This is so what a like a gay Western musical like this should feel like, a musical film. And I mean, I just can't believe that there's this much beauty in the U.S. That is actually where you filmed, where that train is at the bottom.
Yeah, that's the train. That's just a photograph we took.
The wonders of this country always excite me. I see all these beautiful pictures. That's incredible. What was an exciting challenge for all of you in filming this that left you a better person and taught you a lesson that you took away that you can use for your other projects while doing this? Matt, start with you as the producer.
Oh man, that's a big question. I mean, like, never be afraid to ask for help, I suppose, is like a big thing. There was a very funny little anecdote I can share, which is like when we shot our party scene, all of the extras that we had planned to show up, basically most of them canceled or couldn't make it. And I just had to go around the street asking strangers to come be in our movie, and was able to fill up the room. And, you know, that was a nerve-wracking moment, but, you know, you just ask and sometimes you receive.
I have to just say, I'm going to cut in for a sec, as somebody who used to work as a extras casting assistant for Central Casting, first job out of school, God help me, I am not surprised that you had canceled it and not show up, and I'm sorry about that. You say that, and it gives me nightmares all over again, so I can only imagine. Didn't mean to get off topic, but I had to just share that because I know that, you know,
No, thank you.
I was always the one trying to track their asses down. So
yeah, challenge.
How about for you, Kobe?
Oh man, I mean, I knew this going in, but it really solidified for me how much of a collaborative effort it is, and how much teamwork it really takes to make anything, especially something like this, which can be deceiving when you hear short. You know, you hear short film, it's only like 18, 19 minutes. You're like, how hard can it really be? But it's hard, and there are so many people working so hard in every department, on and off screen, to make sure that it's happening. And I just have such a respect for everybody that was involved in this, because it wasn't easy. Especially we did, you know, 3 overnight shoots where everybody was up from like, you know, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., freezing cold temperatures. I mean, it was not easy. And I just have so much love and respect for everybody involved, and just a newfound sort of understanding of how much teamwork it really takes to make any sort of project, but especially a product that you want to be good. So, yeah.
I love that. And how about for you, Jeffrey?
Yeah, so I think our ultimate point of view, I guess, about movie musicals is that they should have live singing. Matt and I have started this company called The Barn, and we're basically only making indie movie musicals, with that requirement being the #1 requirement. I mean, if you think about most musicals, they lip sync to pre-recorded tracks like a music video, and it's really hard to get a real performance when, you know, you're singing to a recording of yourself that you did 3 weeks earlier or 6 months earlier in the studio or whatever. And singing all day long for 12 hours a day for, you know, 10 days in a row or 12 days in a row or whatever we did is hard on your body. And there's a reason, you know, that is the default, because it's easier. And so I think what I learned was sort of the immense talent and skill required to do it, particularly when they were doing it at 10,000 feet. I don't know if you've ever gone from sea level to 10,000 feet to sing, but all those train shots were at, you know, 10,000 feet above sea level. And I just think it was so cool, and I'm excited to do more. So it's all live singing. I guess that was my point of saying that, is when you hear it, everything that you hear sung was sung actually on the train or in the field that same day.
Wow. That's really cool. And I think that's something that we don't see a lot of, the live singing in these films. And so I love that The Barn is doing that and creating that. I'm sure it's probably a little bit more trickier, as you said, you know, but it makes it, I think, so much more special and much more authentic.
Absolutely. That's why we're doing it. We think it's really important.
Yeah. Now, Jeffrey, you'll probably be able to answer this best as the writer. What do you think Lance's real dream is to be? Do you think he wants to be more than a conductor, or what do you think his real dream in life is to be?
That's sort of the question of questions at the end of this. It's kind of you know, I've gone through many phases of my life. I started in the art department before moving on to directing and writing, and I think a lot of people are at a point where they're like, well, I've made it this far. I'm now a middle manager at a bank. I'm a leader in my job. I've been doing it for 10 years. I make a reasonable salary. I have a pretty good life. But am I happy? Is this what I want to do? And I don't know that I can necessarily answer the question for Lance specifically. I'll leave that up to all y'all. But like, I think it's a question that many people ask themselves, and certainly I've up and changed my life before, and I'm sure a lot of people have. And you know, there's like a point in which you think that changing everything is going to be this awful experience, but you can just do it.
Yeah. And what about for you, Kobe? Playing Lance, do you think what do you think his real dream is, or if you had to imagine it, do you think he wants to be more than a conductor?
Yeah, I think his conducting days are over by the end. I don't know. I don't know specifically where he's headed, but I know that yeah, like Jeffrey said, I think that the whole experience, for better or worse, showed him that he's not where he's supposed to be, and there's something else waiting for him. And I love the sort of, well, I don't want to, you know, whatever, the walking off into the sunset. You know, it's like, what is, I like sort of living in the unknown of like, what is next? Because, you know, I feel that way all the time. So
Every day.
Every day.
Of course. Well, the songs on here are beautiful. Is this album available to either purchase or to stream?
Yeah, for sure. It's on Apple Music or Spotify or wherever
Amazing.
wherever you see or listen to music.
Wherever your music is happening, that's where we are.
That's where you are.
Well, I really recommend that you all definitely listen to it and download it, because it's got some great music, especially the reprise at the end was one of my favorites. That was really, really, really good. So what is planned next for the film? Are you set for any like more film festivals, any more premieres? What are sort of the next steps for Steam as we go along?
It's on Revry, so Revry TV. There's an app on whatever device you're using. I'm sure it's also a cable channel that you may get, and it lives there for now. They purchased the rights to it from us, and we're excited to have it out in the world and to have people see it.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, as Jeffrey mentioned, we shot this in 2019, and so we did the festival circuit in 2020, and now we finally are letting our baby out into the world. So that feels really, really nice, and we're excited to see who it connects with and how it performs. And then, of course, the dream is to make a feature film version at some point.
Yeah. I mean, it's done very well. It's gotten picked up in a lot of the queer LGBTQ gay outlets, and there's been a lot of praise. I think I saw something. It was either Attitude or QWERTY. It was that picked it up and, you know, wrote a great thing. So it's really you know, it's really coming along. So I'm really excited to see what happens next with this.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been flattered by the feedback. It's been really nice.
Matt, for those who are watching that maybe want to produce on their own in a film sense, you know, outside of the theater, what's sort of the first thing that they can do if somebody comes to them and they have a script? Let's say they're a producer and, you know, they have a script and they want to film this and make it into a short or something indie. What's sort of that beginning process that can get them started? Obviously, it's much different than a live stage production. So what's sort of the first thing that one can do?
Well, I don't know if you're talking musical or not, but, you know, we're an indie film company, and so I'm a big proponent of going out and just making things yourself and not waiting for a studio or a gatekeeper to give you permission to go out and make something. So my advice to anybody would just be to make the thing. The most important part of any film, in my opinion, is a good script. And so if you got that, like, you know, find some friends and go out and make it and just see what happens.
That's great. I love that. Love to hear that. Now, Jeffrey, I know you have an EP. It's either coming out or has come out of pop songs called Fairy Tales and Fallacies.
This is true. Yeah. It hasn't come out yet. It comes out later this month.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about Fairy Tales and Fallacies? So pop songs, are they original ones that you wrote? Are they covers? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, it's music I wrote. I think I got bored during the pandemic and decided to start recording stuff. I mean, I've written music forever, and some of the songs are older, dating all the way back to 2013 when I first wrote them, and then some of them are new. And I just decided, why not record some music and put it out in the world? So I did. I'm pretty happy with it, and we're just finishing up the last little bits of mastering and all of the various things you need to do.
Yeah.
And then it'll be out there.
Well, I love the name. I can't wait to listen to it. I'm very excited.
Thanks.
Yeah. Now, Kobe, you have a long list of Broadway credits and theater credits to your name. You've done Book of Mormon, Spring Awakening, Brighton Beach Memoirs. You're currently out on tour for the band's Visit. Now, one of the things that you do is you're an educator at Arts Inside Out. And this helps people with HIV and AIDS in South Africa. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? That's really, really touching to hear. Can you tell us a little bit more about Arts Inside Out as an educator there?
Yeah, absolutely. So Arts Inside Out is this amazing organization. It's under an umbrella organization called A-STEP, Artists Striving to End Poverty, and fantastic organization. And they have tons of other smaller organizations under their umbrella all over the world. So look them up, get involved. Arts Inside Out specifically, it was started by this gentleman, Dick Scanlon, who is a Broadway lyricist and book writer. He wrote Thoroughly Modern Millie, Unsinkable Molly Brown, amongst other things. And he started this organization to bring the arts to areas affected by HIV/AIDS. We partnered with this community in South Africa that's essentially like a holistic community for single mothers with HIV/AIDS and their kids, and also people that have been orphaned by HIV/AIDS. And yeah, every summer, which is their winter, we do a 2-week arts camp, acting, visual arts, stagecraft, dance, music, you name it. And we have American teaching artists and South African teaching artists as well. Yeah, it's an amazing program. I encourage anyone who's interested to look it up and apply for their next trip, which will be hopefully this coming summer. But yeah, it's an incredible organization, and it's a very cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah, that does sound like an incredible organization and cool thing to be a part of. Will you be going this summer on the trip?
Probably not. So as you mentioned, I'm on tour with the band's Visit right now, and we tour through August, so I'll probably miss it this year. But hopefully next year.
And how's it going on the road with the band's Visit? Are you all getting adjusted back to performing again and in this sort of post-lockdown world of performing?
Yeah, it's an interesting time to be traveling. And it definitely has its ups and downs. We've been in San Francisco for the past 3 weeks. This is our 4th week here, actually. So that's been really wonderful. And yeah, we're doing mostly West Coast the next couple months. Then we come back East. I would say overall, the most exciting thing has been performing, and I think the audiences are excited to be in the audience again. And it's really it's been really special to reopen theaters and have that live experience, shared experience again with audiences. It's been a really cool time.
That is really cool. That's really special. And how were the audiences out there? I mean, here in New York right now, audiences have been a little bit low with this uptick in this variant. So haven't been at full capacity. How about out where you are out on the West Coast? Are people out and seeing shows, or is the capacity sort of not as strong as it usually is? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so here in San Francisco, it's been low. Definitely been low. I think people are understandably concerned. As the weeks have gone on, it's gotten a little busier, and I think as the weeks continue to go on, hopefully it'll fill up a little bit more. So yeah, it hasn't been completely full, but we're still out there every night doing it. So come see theater, get vaccinated, come, yeah.
Yes. Go see theater, go see Broadway, go see a tour, go see any live performance. It is open, it is safe, probably one of the safest places you can be. at this time. So please, for those of you watching, go out and support the arts. Jeffrey and Matt, what is coming up for the Barn that you can talk about, and maybe next project you're working on or something that's in the works that you can tell us about?
Well, so yeah, we started the Barn to just make movie musicals, and what we're trying to do is basically start a brand. Like we when we started this, we looked out at the landscape and realized that nobody was really making indie movie musicals, and nobody was making very good indie movie musicals, the ones that were getting made. And we've just, over the last 2 years, we've been developing, we have 7 projects on our slate, and I can't give any specifics. But we're each one of those projects has a different team, and they're all now at a very good place that we're gonna hopefully go into production this year on our first. And I'll just say, look out for a lot of content coming from us in the future.
Oh, that's exciting. And how about for you, Jeffrey? Is there, aside from the album, is there anything in your wheelhouse coming up that?
The album's certainly what I'm focusing on now. We're recording some live versions and music videos for that. And then, a lot of what I'm doing is working with Matt. I produce with him as well. A couple of the projects are ones I'm writing and directing, and most of them are just things that we're producing and getting off the ground. So
Cool.
Stay tuned.
Well, as we finish up here, sort of final question, what do you hope that audiences will take away after watching Steam? Colby, start with you.
Well, I hope that it takes people somewhere different, somewhere they haven't been before. And the thing that I love about Steam is that it is a big queer Western musical extravaganza, and I hope that it shows people that there can be all kinds of queer stories and all different kinds of mediums. So I hope that that's what people take away from this.
Amazing. Jeffrey?
Yeah, I mean, I hope people leave it, kind of invigorated in a way to maybe do something that they didn't think could be done. That was sort of what we were doing when we made it, and I think hopefully that comes through.
Amazing. And how about for you, Matt?
I hope everybody finishes the film and joins the Kobe Gets a fan base.
Yes.
I agree.
I also hope that, I've never really seen an indie movie musical like this. And so I hope it excites people to the possibilities that movie musicals have. They don't need to be huge blockbusters with big dance numbers. They can be small, intimate stories.
Yes, I totally agree. And we need more of them. And Kobe, do you have the Kobe Getzig fan base? Is that where can we join that?
Nothing official, but you can follow me on Instagram, I guess, and I'll let you know what I'm up to.
I was gonna say I would join the club. So yes, where can we keep up with all of you on Instagram? What are sort of the social media handles? Kobe, you said you were at Kobe.
Yeah, that's me. That's the best way.
And Jeffrey?
You've got mine over there too. I'm Jeffrey D. Simon. There you go.
Nice. Personal. I'm Mandrews Makes on Instagram. Look at that. So prepared. And then we're also at The Barn on Instagram. That's where we would love for you to follow us.
Amazing. They'll definitely. And you also have a website too, thebarn.la, which is pretty cool place as well. So make sure you all check that out as well. And if you all want to keep up with me, for those of you watching, you can head on over to TikTok, which I am sort of new at, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Rye_Myers, and keep up with me and everything I'm doing, including my new in-person talk show that I do here in Hell's Kitchen every Thursday night, Live with Rye and Friends on Broadway, the new free talk show accessible for everyone. We've got some great guests coming up, so make sure you follow me. Well, listen, Kobe, Matt, Jeffrey, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk with me, to talk about Steam. This is truly a beautiful project, and I am really excited to see what happens with it, where it goes, and what's coming for all of you, because I know this is just the beginning, and we're going to hear so much more from you, from the Barn, everything all together, because there's a lot of good coming out and I can feel it.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Rye.
Thank you. Thanks, Rye.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.